little incapacitated with a back injury over the past week, it seemed like a really good opportunity for me to give you guys a workout that is not necessarily going to be suitable if your back is injured, but it is definitely a workout that's going to be much easier on the back. As with any injury, you have to make sure that you're checking with your healthcare providers before you work out with it. And I absolutely cannot say that this workout will be good for you if you have a sore back. However, the way my back has been feeling, these exercises are all low impact and are suitable for me to do. So I'm going to start off. I'm not going to exercise number one. I want to get my heart rate up a little bit, but I can't really be bouncing. So I'm just going to be doing marching on the spot. The whole of this workout doesn't really contain a lot of cardio. And with a sore back, one of the best things I find for me is walking. I wouldn't use a dog leash. I wouldn't be walking with a dog with a leash. Just because that pulling is not great, but walking can loosen everything up. So as far as getting your cardio in, walking is a great way of doing it. On a bike, if it's an upright bike, then that can also be a very good way, as long as you are comfortable. And one of the most important things to make sure you are doing is listening to your body. If things are hurting, then it probably isn't going to be doing you any good. It's tough kind of differentiating between pain and just a little bit of soreness that you're going to work through, but definitely you shouldn't be feeling any pain. Alright, next exercise, so I'm going to be stepping back into a lunge, and then I'm going to be doing a little bit of a rotation. The direction, so my left leg is forward, I'm rotating to the left. And I'm going to stay in that lunge for 30 seconds, just doing a slight rotation. So I am moving as far as I can comfortably go, keeping everything pulled in tight, making really sure that my form is good. Keeping my abs pulled tight is helping to protect my back. And then that little rotation is just adding a little bit of a stretch through lower back. Halfway. All right, switching over to the other side. Nice deep breaths. Check that the form is good with the legs. Check that you're staying really upright. Now I could add on a little bit of weight here if I were holding something close to my body, but for this one, for this round, I'm going to keep it low impact, light or no weight, and focus on how my back is feeling and that I'm doing everything correctly. All right, next exercise. So down on the floor, on my side, keeping the legs straight. I am lying down and I'm going to do leg lift and lowers. Before I'm lifting my legs, I'm putting my hand on my belly to make sure I'm pulling belly in tight, engaging the abdominals, and then the lift and the lower is only a very small amount. So I'm not really going up all that high, but I am paying very good attention to making sure that my belly, my core, is engaged and working. So there is no discomfort that I feel with any of this, and my back is still a little inflamed. So it is a very low impact exercise, halfway, working the core quite hard. Okay, nice and slow and steady. Belly pulled in as I'm lifting up. I'm breathing out as I'm lowering. I'm breathing in. Keeping my hand there is just that reminder to keep that whole area pulled in tight and keep the back safe. All right, next exercise. So I am adding a little bit of weight on here, and I just went through the weights before doing this just to make sure that everything felt okay, starting with no weight and doing the exercise and then adding a little on. So belly pulled in tight, arms moving symmetrically as they're lowering, breathing in as I'm lifting the weights up, breathing out. Now often with this exercise I'll have legs up or I'll be doing bum raises. The key to workout really is keeping things simple so that I can focus on engaging all the correct muscles to make sure that I'm not feeling it in any areas that I shouldn't be. So this would also be quite good as a beginner workout because there are no complicated exercises where you're working lots of muscle groups at once. It really is keeping things a little bit more straightforward. Alright, next exercise. So I'm staying on my back, just with one weight this time. Going with the knees falling one way, the arm going the other way. Keeping belly pulled in nice and tight. And I have that arm out to the side to help support. Now just remember, like I said before, I am not saying that this is a good workout for someone with an injured back, but it's working the muscles that you need to keep strong and flexible to keep a healthy back. So halfway, you have to be the judge of how this feels. And I wouldn't recommend, if you have a back injury, you shouldn't be working out. You shouldn't be doing these kinds of exercises. I am adding stuff back in as I'm rehabilitating my back. And the exercises that we have here are going to be really good for strengthening a back, and they're quite back friendly. Excellent. All right, next exercise. So we are going to be staying on a back. Two versions of this one. So you can just do bum up and down, or bum up, knees wide, back together and down. It's a little more challenging, working a little bit more the lower back and the glutes than you would be if you're just doing the up and down version. As I'm lifting up, I'm breathing out. As I'm lowering, I'm breathing in. Try to make sure you lift as high as you can, not using the arms to push up and through, you're using the bum. Okay, next exercise. So on all fours, make sure I'm not going to be kicking the bench. Bird dog. So opposite arm and leg coming out. You can make this one harder by putting the bender ball under the knee and just doing the one side. But for now, I really want to keep it simple and easier. Now this is a workout that I would suggest you could do every other day, and you could start to progress, making it harder every time you do the workout, as long as everything has felt good after this workout. Core pulled in nice and tight. Breathing out as my legs are coming out straight. In as I'm bringing arm and leg back to center. Alright, next exercise, bicep curls. So again, the same as previously, I'm going with lighter weights to start out, making extra sure that lifting I am doing properly, using my legs and not through my back. And I'm alternating. One arm coming up as the other one is coming down. Both arms together, people will tend to do a little bit of a lean back, especially if the weight is too heavy. And that's definitely not going to feel good on my lower back. So I'm doing the easier version, which is the alternating arms. And as long as my arms feel fine, my back feels fine with this, then the next round or the subsequent workout, I consider going with heavier weights. Making sure to be very nice and straight and keeping abdominals pulled tight and engaged throughout so that my back stays in an upright, neutral position. Next exercise, using the bench. You could also do skull crushers, so on the back, doing skull crushers, but I just wanted to change it up a little bit. I'm going with the easy version of tricep dips, keeping my legs bent, and as long as my back feels totally fine throughout this one, then I continue with the same exercise for the second and the third round. If my back didn't feel fabulous on this one, then I would go with skull crushers. Like with most injuries, movement is better than lack of movement. It is just making sure that you're finding the right things to do. If there is ever pain in the injured area, that is definitely not a good thing. But getting expert opinions and ways of doing things and then keeping moving is by far better than inactivity. Having said that, there were 4 days last week where I pretty much didn't do anything, so you do have to allow yourself the time for your body to heal as well. Alright, next exercise, I'm finishing off with a plank. Starting off with a plank on my knees, and as long as I can make it through this one without feeling anything in my lower back, then the next two I possibly would go to a full plank. Or if I'm feeling it's a little risky, I will stick with this one, and then as long as I feel okay for the rest of today, a subsequent workout, I would go to the full version. Nice deep breaths. Really make sure to be flat, neutral position. Amazing how long a minute takes when I'm not talking. I don't know if you guys feel the same way as well. Alright, that was 10 exercises. Successfully completed. So now we're going to go back to the start and repeat 2 more rounds. So if everything went fine for that one and you found it was a little bit too straightforward, just go a little bit heavier on the weights or go with the more advanced movement when I'm recommending one. So, starting off, I'm doing high knees rather than fast feet. To begin, the fast feet, like I said before, is just a little bit more jarring. So, for cardio, I will stick with the biking and the walking. Here, the high knees is great because it really gets a lot of movement in my hips. So, knees up, nice and high. You could do elbow to opposite knee. Add a little bit of rotation there. Going to be a little bit more on the core by doing so. Keeping my elbows up a little bit higher here. I'm adding in a little bit more shoulder work as well. Okay, next exercise, lunges. So I am actually going to add a little bit of weight to that lunge. If I have a medicine ball, you You can keep it right close to the chest. And I'm going to step in and out of the lunges now. So it's a step back, rotate to the left, coming up, step back with the other leg, rotate to the right. Breathing in as I'm lowering. Sorry, breathing out as I'm lowering. Breathing in as I'm standing up. Making extra sure to keep core pulled in very nice and tight. And the rotation only if it's comfortable. And only round as far as continues to feel comfortable. Often I find the second round is the best round, regardless of anything that's going on. Your body is very well warmed up. So before you're getting tired, all right, next exercise, down on the ground, side lying, feet raisers. Making sure my hips are vertical. Relaxing down, belly pulled in, those legs coming up, slowly back down. So consciously engaging the abdominals with each and every one. As I'm lifting up, I'm breathing out. As I'm lowering, I'm breathing in, and I'm making sure that as I lower, it's not a drop. It's a slow lower, slowly relaxing the muscles. All right, switching over onto the other side. Next exercise, staying on the ground, the lat pull overs, knees up, make sure that you're grabbing the weights without twisting the back, breathing in as you're lowering, out as you're lifting, and as long as you felt totally fine with the last one and wanted to go a little heavier, just making sure that you're keeping shoulder blades pushed in, belly pulled tight. Don't let your back arch. With this one, if your back is arching, it's going to put strain on the lower back. Just one weight. I've got the knees bent, feet off the floor would be a harder version, easier version. Keeping the knees bent and the feet on the floor is easier on the lower back. But I'm going to stick with the lower impact version for this workout. And then once I know everything feels great after this workout, then a subsequent one I could make a little bit harder. Breathing in as everything is lowering, breathing out as everything's coming up to the middle. All right, and halfway, switch sides. All right, ditching the weights. So now we're staying on the floor, bum up, doing you wanted to have the elastic below your knees, then that would add resistance and make it a harder glute and core workout. Alright, so for the next one, last time we were in a bird dog on all four opposite arms and legs. Another good one that is very similar is lying on the front and doing the alternating Superman. So left arm, right leg, right arm, left leg. Breathe out as you lift, in as you lower. The higher everything is lifting up, the tougher it is on back. So I am only doing a small amount of lift. It is almost just like I'm actually straightening rather than lifting. So my leg is straight, my arm is straight. There is no extra strain going onto my back. Breathing out as I'm straightening out. Breathing in as I'm relaxing and coming back down. All right, next one. Alternating bicep curls. So coming up and off the ground, again, super carefully, making sure I'm using my legs to lift and not bending forwards, which these are principles that you should be using all the time to prevent having any back issues. It is never a good idea to bend forwards and lift something up off the ground, no matter how light. The dips nice and easy by keeping my knees bent and my back close to the bench. So really isolating the triceps here. Breathing in as I lower, out as I lift. Challenging enough last time, but obviously a full plank is the harder version. Belly pulled in, keeping shoulder blades down. Make sure to try and keep shoulder blades squeezed. And in this position, my thighs really are almost touching the ground, but I can see from my reflection that I'm as straight as I need to be, as flat as I need to be. Nice deep breathing. Shoulders are directly above elbows. And I'm making a very conscious effort to keep my belly pulled in tight throughout. So even though it's not necessarily a very challenging exercise, doing it correctly means that you will feel like you are working that much harder. Nice deep breaths, keeping my head lined up with the rest of my back in a neutral position. Alright, so final round, starting off with the high knees, and I'm going to make it just a little bit higher impact by keeping my arms up throughout. It's not going to be more impact on my back, it's just going to be making it a little bit more challenging. My heart rate will have to be a little bit higher because I've got my arms up. So that, keeping them up throughout, means that I just have to work a little bit more so. Elbows coming up. And knees coming up towards the elbow. Breathing out, in, but I'm still making very cautious, very good effort to keep my back nice and upright. So I'm not going to bend forwards because that would just be more challenging on the back and it would make the exercise easier, and we don't need to make it easier. We're almost done now. 20 minutes down, 10 to go. Next exercise, still keeping the extra weight. I'm still going to be doing the alternating step back, but of course you could make it that much easier by ditching the weight and not stepping in and out of the lunge, just holding the lunge down and doing the rotations for 30 seconds and then switching over to the other leg. This way is just working my legs a little bit harder, which is what I want to do at this point. Keeping back really nice and upright. And even throughout the course of this workout, I've felt that I've become more mobile. Everything that has started to seize up from inactivity over the last few days is just becoming more mobile now with doing the movement. Number three, side lying feet raises. So over the last week, I was given physio exercises to do. So I haven't been completely inactive. I have been doing the physio exercises. And what I always say to all of you, if ever you have an injury, you need to be seen by someone. And the exercises that they give are going to be the best ones for ensuring you get back to full health as quick as possible. So I haven't been able to do my own workouts for a while, but I have been doing those exercises and I will continue to do those ones. I'll just be adding my own back in now. So when you're given exercises by the physio or the chiro or the osteo or whoever you go to see, they are very specific to your injury based on what they have assessed. So they really will make all the difference. So do them. You pay the money for seeing the professional. Do what they tell you and you'll find it a big difference to your recovery. All right, so hopefully none of you guys are injured. You're doing a back-friendly workout to keep your back strong and healthy. So make sure those arms are moving symmetrically. There is no bend or straighten at the elbow. The movement is from the shoulders, keeping the shoulder blades pushed into the mat, core pulled in nice and tight. As you're lowering, you're breathing in. As you're lifting up, you are breathing out. The next one arm chest flies. So arm out to the side, still keeping the feet on the floor, but you can do the feet up to make it harder. I'm making sure that my arms and my legs are moving symmetrically. Belly is pulled in really nice and tight throughout. And my arm is going down as low as I can, the same with the knees. Breathing in as you're lowering, breathing out as you're lifting up. Halfway, switch over. Next one, so staying on the back with the bridge, bum up, knees spread with or without the mini band. High as I can go, breathing out on the up, in on the down. Big lift, right up there, make sure that my legs are moving symmetrically, not using my arms to push into the ground. All right, next exercise, up and off the floor and bicep curls. 3 minutes left, we are nearly done. Breathing out as one's coming up, in as you're lowering, because you're always doing the movement, contracting or extending of one or other arms. The breathing on this one, you just want to make sure that you're doing steady, fluid, in-out breaths. There is no right or wrong way to breathe. Not breathing enough would be the wrong way. Making sure back is staying very nice and upright. Elbows stay pinned into the sides. Shoulder blades stay low and, shoulders stay low, shoulder blades stay squeezed. All right, next exercise. higher than my shoulders. So this is as low as I go, keeping core pulled in and keeping my back straight and as close to the bench as possible throughout. So the one that I skipped was the bird dog. So I'm going to be doing the lying, front lying, alternating Superman. Either of those would be fine, bird dog or this one. As I'm lifting up, I'm breathing out. As I'm lowering, I'm breathing in. Very little lift going on, really just extending into a straight position. Partly because I've got a bench in the way, partly because that's what's feeling good on my back right now. From the knees. An easier version of a plank, kind of in between the full plank and the knee plank, would also be, you could do one on the bench. I'm going to stick with the one on the floor, just because. Nice pulled in tight belly, keep the shoulders down, shoulder blades squeeze, make sure the head is not up or down. The head is an extension of the core, so you just want that to stay in a neutral position as well. Nice deep breaths. We are nearly finished here. Injury. It is a workout that is very safe for the back. So there are certain exercises that are more risky on certain body parts. This one doesn't contain anything that is a riskier maneuver exercise on the back. However, that doesn't mean that it is easy on the back. It is just much safer. So, as always, finish with a really good stretch. If you have had a little break, then you need to make sure that you are doing even more stretching afterwards so that you're fit and in good condition for the next one. Alright, have a wonderful day and thank you for joining me again.